Brain hacks to master public speaking. Hi, my name is Dr. Meghana Dikshit. I'm the author of the book You Matter, Brain and Performance Expert, and an Ayurvedic doctor. If you're new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you can receive our videos every single time. And if you are already a subscriber to this channel, welcome back, you viewer. This is the most asked subject from most of you. Public speaking, right? And I know how important public speaking as a skill is in today's world. When the whole world is screaming on your face through social media, you do need to create that content. You do need to speak in front of people. You do need to, and public speaking is not a skill which is just to become a public speaker or a trainer or a coach, but public speaking is a skill that requires even in your presentations at your workplace. It is so much more important to learn public speaking because it is extremely crucial for you to have that skill of negotiation, to be able to present yourself well in not just in public, but also in your professional space, maybe giving a great presentation, maybe talking to your boss, maybe talking to a team member or a colleague. It is such an important skill and it is underrated, only spoken about public speaking, that you need to be in public arena to be a public, speaker, or you need to have the speaking skills. That's not true. If you want to sell yourself well, if you need to sell your products and services well, if you need to negotiate properly or market yourself well, public speaking is a very, very crucial skill. And this skill is not just important in your professional life, but it is also important in your personal life. Your relationship, the basis of your relationship is connection. And connection is a foundation of public speaking. Public speaking as a skill is not just knowing your content and just delivering it. You see, if I'm talking to you, I'm talking to this camera, right? But I'm not actually talking to a camera. I'm talking to every individual whom I'm connecting with right now. If I don't connect with you, you will not consume my content. Same way, if I don't connect with you, you will not be influenced or impacted by what I want to see. Whether it's professional relationships or your personal relationships, speaking is a skill that's extremely crucial. How you speak, it's more than the vocabulary, the connection that you build. A lot of people simply communicate. That's the biggest mistake. You don't need to develop only communication skill. That we developed millions of years back when we developed the language skills. You need to develop the skill of connection. And in the connection, language is a secondary part. So let's understand, how do you start developing this connection skills on this public speaking skill? If you are ready to learn this skill, type ready in the chat box and let's straight dive in. So public speaking. Most of us, we are born as extroverts because think about it. Every infant that you see in your life, that infant is not waiting or is not shy to ask for help or support. If that infant is hungry or has, peed in the pants, wet the nappy, that infant is going to cry out loud to seek attention and get that help. Then what happens? How do you become a person who's shy, introvert, or not comfortable in public to speak or express your views? What happens in your space? So now if you go back in your life, you may have had an incident or an event that happened in your life where it could be you were exposed to something where you felt that people laughed at you, people ridiculed you or judged you when you expressed your opinions or when you tried to speak. Or there is a possibility in your life that you saw somebody getting humiliated or subjected to rejection and that made you feel fearful to speak in public. Let me share an incident that happened in my life, when I was 8-year-old. So, there was this competition in school, and this competition was of, speaking about a freedom fighter. It was obviously an elocution competition. I prepared my sister made me prepare the whole speech properly. And I had learned the speech, and just before the night of our presentation, my sister woke me up from the sleep in the middle of the night and asked me to give the presentation. I had learned the whole script and I spoke effortlessly and really eloquently. Now my sister was extremely impressed and she said, there's no doubt that you're going to win this competition, you're prepared. I was excited, went back to sleep, got up in the morning, went to the school, and there was a whole school standing in front of me. From the junior KG to the 10th standard, all the students, their parents, teachers, principal, everybody. Now, the moment I saw this huge crowd in front of me, something happened within me and I forgot all the lines that I had learned. I couldn't utter a single word from my mouth. In fact, I started crying looking at that whole crowd, expecting something from me. I was not prepared for that. I was prepared in a comfort zone in front of my sister to speak. And this created a deeper wound and scar in my space where I started feeling that I'm not a good public speaker. I can't talk to people and this is very difficult. And since then I realized that every opportunity that I would get of speaking in front of people, I would either shy away or I would not be fully prepared with my content. I became more of an, if I was pushed into the arena, I would become an impromptu speaker. Now, I'm good at my subject, so I would somewhere be able to create that impact. But where the topic was to be dealt in, say, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I would go speaking for 2 hours. And this was the biggest drawback. This was the biggest problem for me, to curb my timelines, to make sure that I speak everything effectively in small time. And in world, you don't get so much time. In so much of population, in front of so many people, you get very few minutes or maybe sometimes seconds to create an impact. So for me, that event that happened in my life had created this huge, deeper scar and a wound where I felt that I'm not good at speaking. And because I started feeling I'm not good at speaking, I was a very bad salesperson. I never went out and marketed my skills and my abilities. It directly impacted my finances and my credibility. I was not able to speak in front of people and tell them how good I am. It directly impacted my self-worth and my self-esteem. Is there any incident like that happened in your life? Or you saw it happening with somebody else that has created that wound inside you, that fear inside you that you cannot be a good public speaker? Let me know in the chat box if there is something like that, because that's a trauma that you need to heal separately. And I've already spoken a lot about trauma healing on this channel, so you can go check those videos where I speak about how to heal your trauma. But most critically, that you understand that once you have healed your trauma, then when you look at this skill as public speaking, and I'm using it as a skill again and again. Why? Because any skill can be learned. Nobody is a born public speaker, and if anybody is a born public speaker, so are you. So then you need to understand how you can become an effective communicator, an effective connector, an effective speaker. You can learn it. But remember, public speaking is as a skill is not just putting your content in the right place and your slides in the right place. As I said earlier also, public speaking is more connecting with your audience than just speaking the words. You may speak the words, but if that doesn't land on people, and then they don't connect with your content or what you're saying, they will not get impacted. Maybe you'll get a lot of applause at that point of time for doing something which is like, you spoke in 20 minutes and how beautifully you spoke. But nothing has really created an impact on people because you have failed to invoke the feelings, emotions in other person. So remember, it's more of a personal development than technical development. A lot of times people, when they think of public speaking, they go enroll themselves into technical development, which is important. You need to know how to speak, how your body language should be, how the throw of your words has to be, how pauses have to be taken. All of that is important, but that's only 20%. 80% of your public speaking is your ability to be comfortable with who you are, is your ability to be able to comfortable in the other person. The person, maybe it's a 1 person, 10 people, 100 people in front of you. It's the ability to connect at the deeper levels emotionally with your audience. And that can only happen when you work on yourself. Heal your traumas, make sure that you become a better version of yourself every single day. I'm going to focus on how I became a good public speaker. Now, I started with first understanding this, that your brain does not differentiate between what is imaginary and what is real. Now, if I want to become a good public speaker, I have to first conceive that idea in my mind. I should be able to imagine and visualize that I am a public speaker. So I started practicing this visualization technique that I am, doing this in front of thousands of people. Now, at that point of time, I was not doing it, but visualizing it helped me so much to kind of create that vision for myself. Not just creating the vision, but it also helped me to create that success for myself by bringing that thoughts, emotions, and actions in my space. So I started visualizing every single night. How would it look like in front of thousands of people? I'm effectively speaking, people are nodding, they are happy, they are clapping, they are cheering, they are giving me a standing ovation. What is it? You have to go in the minutest of the details about how many rows are in the audience, how big is the auditorium, how many people are sitting there, how are you speaking, how are your gestures. I would practice this visualization every single day. I became a public speaker very soon. I started visualizing this. But again, the roadblock came because after pandemic, I had to do the public speaking in front of the camera. Now, I had this block that I always felt that, I can connect better with people when they are in person. But how can I connect with people in front of camera? How many of you are facing that issue, that you're facing the camera and you're thinking that you're not getting the reaction from the public, and how are you going to make it happen? So what I started doing is, when I started doing the webinars, initially, let me tell you something, I did fail because I had this mental block that I will not be able to speak to a camera and connect with people. So then what did I do? I started practicing the visualization, speaking in front of the camera. The camera actually became one person in front of me. I was no longer talking to a camera, but I was visualizing I'm talking to a person right now. I'm talking to a person who is watching me here right now. And when I started looking deep within that person's eyes, I started connecting so much better. I practiced and practiced and practiced every single day doing this. If you look at my old videos, you will know what I'm saying. I was not good at it like I'm doing right now. I'm still saying that I'm still a lifelong learner. I can get better every single day. And there are some days where I'll be very good and some days I'm not going to be good. Like today's day, I'm extremely tired, but this is something that I need to do and I have to do because I have to produce this video. I'm being very honest with you. And how are you feeling right now when I'm honest with you? You may be feeling that, oh, she doesn't look tired. She looks very energetic. But some of you may spot the difference. If you're a regular, subscriber of this channel, you'll spot a difference in my energy levels. Yes, I'm tired. There's a lot of work that's going on in my professional and personal life right now. But when I'm honest with you, do you connect better with me? Rather than me sitting here saying that, oh, I'm fully energetic, I'm great. And people love honesty. You love honesty, right? Right now, how many of you can resonate with me that I'm tired and there are days in your life you are tired? There are days in your life you don't really want to do things, but you have to do them, right? And this is how you become a public speaker. By being honest to your audience. The second and the most important thing is to know your audience. Who are you talking to? You cannot speak to a child giving them big yarn of science or things like that are going to be bouncer on them. You need to tell stories to these children for them to understand what you're speaking. At the same time, you're speaking in front of the scholars and you cannot be childish in front of them. You have to speak their language. So know your audience before you go in a public speaking space. What is it that they're expecting of you? What is their bandwidth? What do they understand this world through? What is their lens? Use that lens and start preparing your content based on what is your audience. Knowing your audience is extremely crucial before you speak with them. The third step, now that you've understood your audience, you understand the importance of deeply healing yourself and connecting with your audience. It's extremely important that you understand this big brain hack, okay? Our brain does not understand big content. It needs a bite-sized, toffee-sized content. So you have to start chunking your content in small quantities. Imagine if I create a YouTube video which is like a 3, 4, 5 hours long, it's going to be difficult for you to digest because you do not have that focus. But if I do a 12-15 minutes video, it's going to be easier for you. Start chunking down your content into bullet points so that you do not just use all the rote-learned words, but you take the bullet points and you start actually narrating your version or your understanding of that bullet point. Right now, right in front of me, I have this laptop and I have all my bullet points right in front of that. So every time I'm doing this video, I take the bullet point, I talk to you. Chunking down your content is very important for you to then elaborate it. It's a practice that you develop slowly. The fourth point that you need to understand, and this is my most favorite one, this is a game changer in your public speaking arena. Like I just did, right? I spoke to you and I said, I'm extremely tired today, but I'm still doing this because this is something that I'm committed to do. So when I share a story from my life, I shared a story of my public speaking disaster, right? Couple of stories I shared. When I was 8-year-old, I shared with you when I started webinars, that time I failed. People love to hear stories, whether the stories are of your life, whether the stories of other people's life, aspirational figures, any stories that you can connect through your content. Build those stories. People love to hear stories and stories stay with you. How many of you know that the stories that you learned as a child or you read as a child, they're still with you, right? So stories are extremely crucial part of your public speaking. Start collecting metaphorical stories, Panchtantra stories, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Sufi saints, whichever the areas that you love reading, start collecting the stories and put your content through the stories. It's the most effective way. I'll tell you something. I check on my Instagram and even my YouTube shorts. Every time that I have shared a story and I conveyed a message to a story, it has really reached massive audiences. Why? There's more share, there is more connection, and there is more, recognition at the same time remembering. So remember to collect those stories from your life and present those stories. Everybody likes an honest speaker. Everybody likes a speaker who's right there and saying that, hey, you know what? I goofed up. I messed up. I made a mistake. I made a boo-boo. I'm not a perfect person. Nobody is. Your audience will love to see your victim-to-victor stories. Where did you fail? What didn't work for you? Being honest is the best way to become a great public speaker. If you make a mistake, like suppose you may ask me, how can I be like that in front of my boss? You made a mistake. You go ahead, you talk to your boss and say, hey, you know what? I know I made a mistake. I want your feedback of where can I improve. I want to see to it that I'm not going to make the same mistake again. When you acknowledge your mistakes and you tell people that yes, you made a mistake. Yes, you're not 100% today. Yes, you're not fully energetic today. People like it because it's a common thing. Everybody goes through the same things. So connecting with people through your personal stories is a very effective way to connect and become a great public speaker. Now, this is one technique that has helped me every single time I have gone in a public space to speak. And let me tell you something. Every public speaker have their own anchors and have their own ways to train their brain to go before audience. So my way is very simple. Positive self-talk. I have my 4 lines that I speak every single time I'm in the public domain, whether I'm talking to you right now through this channel, or I'm doing webinars or masterclasses, or maybe doing 3 days and 6 days events. I have these 4 sentences that I speak to me every single day. You want to know them? Type 4 sentences in the chat box. Let me give you my 4 sentences. You can create yours too. So I start with, I'm the best. Type I'm the best in the chat box if you like this. I'm the best. Now remember, a lot of you may have a pushback while I say that I'm the best. Oh, but I'm not the best. I'm not the best. Your brain doesn't know that. You're your best today. You can be better tomorrow. But you're your best, whatever you can today. So if you get a pushback, just take a deep breath and keep saying, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. Some of you may feel, if I say I'm the best, I may stop learning. No, you're not going to. You're here in this channel, so far you're listening to this video, you're not going to stop becoming the better and better version of yourself. So start saying, I'm the best. Second is, I can do it. When you tell yourself, you can do it, your brain will start finding the ways for you to do it. Third, I'm a champion. I love saying it very often. I start my day by saying, I'm a champion. I look into the mirror and I say, I'm a champion. I give myself a high five and say, I'm a champion. See, you have to become your biggest cheerleader. Then only the world will start noticing it. And the fourth thing, which is a very important thing that I say, today is my best day. I start my day by saying these 4 things. I'm the best. I can do it. I'm a champion. And today is my best day. Put it in the chat box, because whoever is coming after you will see those chats and will get really inspired by you. So these 4 sentences are my mantras every single morning when I wake up, and especially when I'm going in the public speaking arena. Another trick I learned from one of my mentors, okay? This is the problem with all the Asian speakers. We have so much to share, we have so much knowledge to talk, that if you look at most Asian speakers are very fast speakers. We hardly practice pause. And one of my international mentors made sure that I learned the practice of pause. So earlier when I used to speak, I had so much to share with the world that I would just go on and on and on without practicing the pause. And he said, practicing pause is extremely crucial, Meghna, because it gives you 2 things. When you pause, you allow your audience to assimilate what you spoke. It will land on them and they will process it well, because your brain cannot focus on fast information that's coming to you. The second thing he said, when you practice pause, you can gather your thoughts and the next chunk of content that you want to deliver. Remember, the greatest of the speakers, like if you see the some of the great politicians that are in our country and outside of the country, have been practicing pauses, and they have been the most eloquent speakers. People put them into the category of great speakers. Go watch. They may seem like they're very slow in speaking, but they're very effective in speaking. So learn to practice pause. There is no hurry. Nobody is going to run away. You have got your audience right in front of you, and you're going to make it happen. Now that I've slowed down my entire content here, is it helping you to assimilate what I'm telling you better? The third thing will happen with practicing pause is it will help you to breathe better. When you breathe more, you're more effective because you're more connected with your audience. That's a bonus tip for you. And the last one, remember to be funny. Remember to be humorous. I learned this hard way. I never use humor or fun because I never used to have fun in my life earlier. I was a very serious speaker. And yes, as a doctor, people want to listen to something very serious, but serious things can be conveyed in a funny way too. I learned this technique to be funny. I learned this technique to be humorous so that people can laugh at it. One of my best, one of the best statements that I generally use in my very humorous one in all my workshops is, nobody likes to change. No human likes to change. The only human being who likes to change is the baby in the wet diaper. And let's be honest, neither you nor me is that baby in the wet diaper. Now you see, by using a metaphor like that, people just crack up. They just feel funny. Some of them, they also come back and say, oh, the change is also loved by the conductor of the bus. Obviously. So you see the engagement increased, the most, connection increased. Humor is a very good way to connect with your audience. So start learning how to be more funny, how to be more humorous, but in the right way, not in the wrong way as well. You don't want to be funny all the time. You want to use those little punches, little fun elements into your speaking so that people, basically in your speaking, people should not get into the monotonous zone. So you're breaking the pattern of their brains to stay more connected with you. If this video helped you, give me a thumbs up, share it with at least 10 people, and let me know which is the best part that you feel of this video. See you soon.